Welcome to SVG-TV's news for Thursday, September 29th, 2016. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. A tropical storm warning for St. Vincent and the Grenadines has been discontinued and an all clear has been issued as of 11 a.m. today. The final advisory from the local Met Office states that Tropical Storm Matthew was moving towards the west at 13 miles per hour. The estimated minimum central pressure is 995 millibars. The Met Office, however, notes that moderate to heavy showers and isolated thunderstorms are still possible throughout the day as the system continues to track westwards away from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In addition, seas will continue to be rough in open waters with swells peaking up to 4 meters. All persons are advised to exercise caution as the cleanup operations are still ongoing. All motorists and residents living in landslide and flood-prone areas are still also advised to exercise caution. And Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves said that the government will ensure that the relief effort after the passage of Tropical Storm Matthew goes well. He noted that he was in touch with Prime Minister Acting Montgomery Daniel and other members of cabinet, as well as Prime Minister Roosevelt Scarrett of Dominica. PM Gonsalves was at the time speaking via telephone from Barbados on a weather update program by the National Emergency Operations Center on NBC Radio.
My prayers are with you, and be assured that this government has been experienced in dealing with natural disasters. We have good systems in place. Not every time everything will go like clockwork, but the authorities are working in a focused manner. And we will mobilize the necessary resources as we have always done, not just for this relief period, but for the period of recovery and reconstruction. I want to thank all who have been involved in help.
PM Gonsalves also noted that governments and persons from around the world have already contacted him and are already offering support and solidarity.
Who has been keeping in touch. I want to thank those governments which have already contacted me, and no doubt would have contacted the acting Prime Minister, and for persons from around the region and elsewhere who are already offering support and sympathy to us, and solidarity with us in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's a difficult time, but we have been through difficult times before, and I just want to say let us continue to work together.
The Prime Minister said that he will return to St. Vincent today once the all clear has been given and the Barbados and St. Vincent airports become operational and Liat resumes flights. Meanwhile, Deputy Director of the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, Michelle Forbes, continues to appeal for persons to remain vigilant as drains and rivers have overflown their banks, dumping debris and other materials on the roads, making some roads impassable.
Overnight, we did not have much further reports of any damage. We still have a few more landslides that were reported, but nothing major. We still only have one confirmed death from the police, and they will be continuing their assessments today and investigation of other reports that were received overnight. So all in all, we want to encourage persons to stay safe. We are still under tropical storm warning. We expect that warning to be lifted sometime this morning, and we expect the all clear to be given sometime later after that. So still under some rainy, gusty conditions, but we want to encourage everybody to be safe. Schools remain closed for the rest of the week, and all businesses and public service sectors except the essential services remain closed today.
With confirmed reports of overnight flooding in Vermont, South Rivers, sections of Kingstown, Camden Park, Annisville, Lanley Park, and Booker Bend, Forbes has called for persons to remain indoors as BRACs and other essential agencies will be conducting cleanup operations.
So we are still having some storm conditions throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We are encouraging persons to remain indoors. Even after the all clear has been given, we ask persons to remain indoors because the essential services are going to conduct the cleanup operations, and we don't want much traffic on the road, so that can impede our assessment and given the all clear today. Secondly, we will have the damage assessment process will continue as soon as it is safe for all of our personnel to conduct the assessment, so we'll have a better idea of the damage. Our priority this morning will be the clearing of the roads. We have some key areas in Mesto and on the windward side that needs to be cleared for traffic and some other investigations, so that will be one of our critical tasks this morning, to get the roads clear so that essential services can pass and continue their assessments.
The local Met Office forecast cloudy to overcast with some light to moderate scattered showers, occasional gusty winds and isolated thunderstorm today. Schools will remain closed for the rest of the week, and businesses across St. Vincent and the Grenadines remain closed today, Thursday, September 29th. And opposition leader Anim Eustace also encouraged persons to continue to follow the instructions of disaster management officials in the state. Eustace, who is a member of parliament for East Kingston, was in the Sand Hill area today assessing the damage, and thanked God that the passage of the storm was not highly destructive.
I urge all of us to continue to monitor the situation. And I want to assure those constituents, my constituents in East Kingston, and all the other constituencies, I want to assure you that we will do whatever we can to alleviate the situation that you now face. I want to give that assurance. We take this matter very seriously. And in this climate that we have now in terms of poor economic performance, it is even more important that we exercise the necessary prudence in all that we do.
Eustace also expressed sadness that there was one tragic death of a teenager and encouraged persons to follow the requisite guidelines.
I believe they may have had to have vacated his family from the house. I really don't know. But I understand today, in order to get him out, they had to break the house, not the stone. It is really a traumatic experience for any family to bear. And my heart really goes out to that family this morning. When you think of it, it is hard even to imagine having to break the house on the inside so you can take him out from the stone. Not a matter of breaking the stone and getting him out. Think about it. And that is why it's very important that we always try to follow the advice and instructions given by our organizations that have responsibility for this kind of situation that we have in St. Vincent and the Grenadines at the moment.
All power plants are in good condition and continues to provide power to 95% of the Vincentian population. And that's according to Vinlec CEO Tonley Myers as he spoke on the radio today, updating the nation on the state of Vinlec's operations in light of the passing of Tropical Storm Matthew. Myers noted that the areas affected by power outages were in the east and center of the island, namely Lomans, Windward to Hopewell. He assured the nation, however, that emergency personnel will be out to restore power to all affected areas.
We have about 95%, just over 95% of our customers still online. The main areas affected are on the northeast and in the center of the island in the area of Windward, Lomans to Hopewell. The Grenadines are quite fine. There's an area in Bedford and Mount Pleasant that is out. The other Grenadine islands are quite fine. So a very small percentage of our customers are without power. We anticipate that in a few hours once the all clear is given and the rain has stopped, that our essential workers, essential services workers will be out and we will be able to get, we believe, all our customers back online by the end of the day.
Myers also added that Vinlec personnel will also be on hand to assist in the cleanup operations.
Our employees, once the all clear is given, we have dedicated today those who are not involved in essential work, that is work to get persons and
General Manager of the Central Water and Sewerage Authority, Gad Saunders, is defending the actions of the authority to disrupt water supply to residents of St. Vincent and the Grenadines during the passage of Tropical Storm Matthew, as it was, in his estimation, the right decision. Saunders made this statement as he spoke on NBC Radio in response to criticisms over the disruption of water supply. Saunders noted that this action was necessary to prevent damage to the water supply systems and prevent the introduction of mudslate and sediments from entering the water supply system.
Listeners need to understand that if we did not shut down, all that mud and muck would have been pulled into our system, and we would not be able to supply because it would have become blocked eventually, right? So it's a good thing that we did that. And if you were listening to the Barbados reports, you would know that the Barbados Water Authority they were also forced to shut down all their pumps during the passage of the storm, and they do not even have the level of the topography we have and the level of susceptibility that we have in St. Vincent, but they took the precaution to shut down their pumps to protect their system. So it's not unusual. It's not only St. Vincent that does that. We are doing it because we think it's the best decision.
Saunders added that water supply may continue to be disrupted up to this evening.
These times of the hurricane season, times of a storm passing, you must have water in your home. You must have water stored in your home, and that is essential. Okay, and just to say, for the remainder of today, I suspect that we're going to have to keep the system off until sometime this afternoon, because the rivers are, if any of your callers live near to a river, if they can call in and tell you the state of the rivers, and you will understand that we can't take that water into our system because the level of treatment that we have does not cater for that raw water quality that is really muddy, filled with stones and mud.
Saunders also noted that the CWSA will continue to do phase inspections to ascertain the status of the nation's water supply network.
Turned the Dalloway system on briefly this morning just to check to see if the transmission was okay between Dalloway and Montrose in Kingstown. Right. And it did appear to be okay. But because the raw water quality is so bad, we have had to shut down again. Right. So, we're doing inspections, in a phased way to see if our system remains intact all the way. Right. Because as your listeners would know, as you would know, Daisy, we traverse a very mountainous topography. Yes. And we cross rivers, etc. So with the conditions we experienced last night, there's always the possibility that there could be some damage. So we are assessing the situation as we go along.
And we are also forecasted to have more heavy showers today as well to affect the storms.
Yes, exactly. So we want listeners again to know, we want the public to know that water supply will be intermittent. If it comes back, it will be intermittent, and we will, have to continue to monitor closely, and we'll bring it back as soon as we can.
And all seems to be well in the Maricoa Valley. Area Representative Sinclair Jimmy Prince on the radio today said there has been some reports of landslides in the Lacroix area and other areas, but nothing too serious. Prince said the bridge system for the area remains intact and that they are working to clear all the road networks which were blocked.
Evesham, Riley, California area. No reports of any damage or any landslide yet. I haven't heard of that. Wishland Park seems to be okay. Right. The bridges, we have a lot of bridges because we are a river people. We have about 5 or so main bridges which we are always careful about. None is under any stress at the moment. The rivers are still swollen, but not as much as we anticipated with this kind of rain.
Prince said that he was happy that agricultural lands, particularly banana fields, were not adversely affected.
There's just one other thing that we're happy about, Candyman, is that we are always careful about our bananas. Whatever is left, we certainly still have them because there has not been, I think, enough wind to create a problem in that area. So from what I've seen, the banana fields are still intact.
All right. So, in other words, the news out of Maricoa is, except for a few landslides, all is well.
Yeah, all seems to be well, yes. I still have to do, some more deep investigations. I have to go to Wishland Park itself. That's a very large village.
But as far as I know, as far as I've heard, there is nothing untoward there. Nothing to be worried about too much.
And while no major damage was recorded on the windward side of the island, a number of persons would have made their way to the various emergency shelters in fear of being affected by the passing of the tropical storm Matthew. We hear more on what's been taking place on the windward side of the island in this report from Nikita Tony.
We are here at the Lanley Park Government School where approximately 29 residents were housed due to the passing of Tropical Storm Matthew. Emergency Center Manager Janelle Medica outlined that residents made their way to the center after they became fearful of rising rivers and heavy rainfall.
Persons came running. There were some complained that he came because of the overhanging tree. Another fear for the rise in the sea level. Another because of the river. Persons came in the rain and the wind. They came all wet to come to the shelter, were afraid and so on. And our team responded well because the shelter was open, we were able to accommodate them, and we went to various sections in the building.
Meanwhile, Area Representative of South Windward, Frederick Stevenson, noted that while his constituency has been spared any major damage, there were numerous incidents of land slippage.
This area in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, despite that we are on the east coast of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we have not basically have had the greatest impact of the storms, but we are happy that no lives have been lost and not very many serious damages have taken place in our constituency. There were some damages, some landslides in the area of Bonham, in the area of Calder, in the area of Reeves Level, but we are thankful that the folks from Braxa have assisted in terms of the clearing of the area.
Stevenson, who is also the Minister of National Mobilization, expressed his sincere condolences to the family of the late Kenron Lynch of Layu, who lost his life last evening.
I know that the government would continue to be there for you, and the Ministry of National Mobilization. Since this morning, we have sent out a team of assessors as part of the National Assessment Team in relation to the Ministry of National Mobilization, the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Health. We have sent persons out to see and to assess, and we know that what we do will help to ensure that the livelihoods of our people are grateful, and that the persons who are in need are the ones who would be assisted.
Tropical Storm Matthew has left us with a lot of reminders. Multiple scenes of fallen trees, overflown rivers, and even landslides. And as you can see, right here in the coastal areas where mud has made its way to the sea. Nikita Tony reporting for SVG-TV News.
A mother in Layu is mourning the death of her son, whose life was taken during the passage of Tropical Storm Matthew on Wednesday night, September 28, 2016. 16-year-old Kenron Lynch Antoine, a fourth form student of the Bookament Bay Secondary School, died on the spot after a boulder which came down from a land slippage trapped him outside of his home. According to his mother, Luwin Antoine Maki, the tragic incident took place at around 8 p.m. when the heavy rainfall began. She told SVG-TV News that moments before the incident, she cautioned her son from leaving the home.
Me and Kenan was in the chair sitting. He was listening to news. And I told him about the news, and he telling me, I don't want to hear nothing. Don't tell me nothing about no news. I said, Kenan, I get up and I go in the bathroom. When I went in the bathroom, it was flooded with water. I said, can on the water in the bathroom, but don't worry about that. Leave it till in the morning. Kenan get up and he go in my room and he take down a jacket and he put it on. And when he come out, I hold on from him and he pull away and he go outside. I sit down in the chair and I put my hand to my jaw. And I thought, I get up, I say, Kenyon, I don't hear him answer. When I go outside, I see Kenyon between the stone.
The grieving mother who lost her older son some years ago in another tragic incident is of the view that if Cameron had only listened to her, he would have been alive today and to celebrate his 17th birthday on Saturday, October 1st.
What sort of son would you describe him as?
He was no rude to no teachers. He'll pass any road, he will say howdy. But he was rude to me. Because if I didn't tell him not to go outside, he would have heard what I said. So anytime I tell him don't go nowhere, he'd always picking up and going. Sometimes I just sleeping. And he will come outside in the night, coming back at 12 o'clock. When I catch myself, Cameron gone.
And you and Cameron live alone?
Yeah. I call his father and I tell his father his behavior. His father talk to him. He'd suck his teeth and he'd shut on the phone. He wasn't here when I speak to him. If Cameron was hearing, he would have here today.
How can you see life going on further without your son? I mean, you'll be alone there now.
Yes, God will have nobody else to say, so I'm going to buy a gas for me.
Antoine noted that she would miss her son dearly and stressed that it will be difficult to continue to live in her house from here on onwards. Stepfather Kenton Antoine said he was in disbelief upon hearing the news of his stepson's death. He told our news team that he received a call from his wife stating that the house was beginning to flood. He noted that after being disconnected, he made several attempts to return the call to no avail. Antoine said he received the news from someone and immediately walked from Gume to Rillen Hill to give support to his wife.
You can still roll up, I have to walk from Gobe, come to her almost 2 hours this morning. Just to see my wife, I can't leave my wife. Don't care, man, I got you. I cannot shun that way. That's my stepson, okay, we get a little ups and downs, you know, I think a little ups and downs, but okay, happen ups and downs with my stepson. It's my stepson, I will love him forever.
The emotional stepfather reflected on his stepson's life and added that even though they have not always met eye to eye, a good relationship was maintained nevertheless. And some residents of Layu took the opportunity to express their condolences to the family of the late Cameron Lynch, whose life was cut short during the passage of Tropical Storm Matthew on Wednesday night.
Happened, but I don't really know what took place because I didn't leave home until this morning. But I know Kenyon, he's a decent young man, nice young man growing up, real respectable young man.
Yeah, it is cool, quiet and everything. Right. Yeah, always sometimes. If he pass it 10 times, he say morning, good evening, and he gone. Yeah.
Well, I saw him bend when I come up here. I saw him bend over there with the stone, and nobody cannot help him. The police have been on the scene, and nobody can help him. So then they said, I'm going to break with the house to get him out. So that would then break with the house to get him out.
Did you put a helping hand?
Well, at the time, no, please.
You were shocked?
No, not really was shocked, but the amount of people in the area, in the sense that we have to go there again. Carpenter people and police, we not tell people and care about anything. So we was a crowd stand up and watch. Right. Nice young fella growing up. If you pass 100 times, you tell him morning, you know.
I didn't hear no commotion. I was inside, I didn't hear. The only commotion I heard is that tree that break right near to me there. And it's my son Lamont Wallace, and he come and beating down the door. And when I asked what happened, he said we have a serious problem out here. A stone come down and kill Cameron. I knew Cameron from since he born. I used to take care of him when he going to Layu school because my mother working with Miss Brown. I used to take care of him because I had a little girl going to school. I used to cook lunch for him and thing. He used to sleep by my place when his mother working at night. So I know him very well. He's very mannerly to me. Very, very mannerly to me.
And one resident of the low-income housing area in Cleve Valley had to flee her home during the passage of Tropical Storm Matthew last night. According to Gabrielle Neverson, she was fearful about the safety of her family as the bank behind her house began sliding away.
Actually leave the house. One of my neighbors actually came for me last night and we spent the night by him. Okay. This morning when we came back up to assess the damage, I saw my neighbors helping me to clean up.
Okay. Did it ever cross your mind to go to a emergency shelter?
Yes, it did. But I don't know. I guess I figured this was not going to happen. So I kind of took a risk. Yeah.
And it's the first time that you're experiencing such damage during a disaster?
It's the first time water actually came inside the house. It was a lot of rain, and I mean, if it rains a lot, the bank usually comes down and blocks the drainage, but it was never to this extent.
Meantime, manager at the Rillen Hill Emergency Shelter, Elvina Abraham, noted that some 32 persons were enlisted at the shelter during the course of the night.
32, but some left this morning. Currently we have 25.
Okay. And can you tell me what are some of the reasons why all 32 persons have taken the decision to come here?
Mainly two reasons. Some are living in low-lying areas and the others had leaky roofs. That's the main reasons why.
Okay. Yeah.
Somebody was there last night to settle them in, and I came in this morning too. I took over from him. Okay. From my observation and from talking to others, they slept well and everything was okay. Mm-hmm. So, and this morning, everything okay so far. They had water, food, and light and everything on the premises. Some work with snacks, others brought some this morning, and then we're waiting on some food currently from Nemo. Nemo brought in some blankets as well, so they were quite settled last night.
A resident of Rillen Hill noted that she made a decision to go to the emergency shelter because she noticed her home was in danger, and she also encouraged her neighbors to follow suit.
The night is not gone so well, but right now we are living there. The house is shaking and the posts and the wood posts and everything. Things start to run come out because over the next young thing. So I went back over and see about lots of water coming down. Me and my son and my mother. So both of us in the same disaster.
Okay. Yeah. You didn't experience any landslides nearby?
Well, I don't know. I saw the house shake heavy, but someone says earthquake will pass. So yesterday I was coming on and my son, I called my neighbor to let us move out early.
According to the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, over 400 persons were enlisted in emergency shelters across SVG during the passage of the storm. And the 3 Vincentian missing fishermen have been located and are said to be safe in the French island of Martinique. According to the local Coast Guard service, the 3 men, Andrew Baptiste, James Baptiste, and Lesworth Young, along with the vessel they were traveling on, were picked up in Fort de France, Martinique. The MRCC Martinique is now expected to prepare a situation report to be sent to the local Coast Guard service as to the date and time the men will be returning home. The Coast Guard service said one of the crew member, James Baptiste, who spoke with them, said in their attempt to return home after leaving to fish on the western side of St. Vincent, they lost connection and could not tell exactly where they were. Baptiste reported that they saw a light and went towards it, and that they were actually in Martinique waters. Well, they did not know they were actually in Martinique waters. Airline travel is one of the concerns for persons in this country. We get more on the situation at the E.T. Joshua Airport.
So how was your flight?
Good. Yes, went up and down and kind of thing, but it was good. Okay. I enjoyed it.
So glad to be, you enjoyed it?
Yeah.
So you're glad to be home?
Yeah.
All right, good. Thank you so much.
It was no problem. It wasn't rough as I would think it would be. It's smooth sailing for me.
And where you came in from?
I came in from Trinidad.
So you came in, no problems?
We think that the sandbags really helped. From what we were looking at last night, where persons were sending things on WhatsApp, yes,
because the water was really a lot up there.
Here at the airport?
Yes, right here at the airport. We are surprised but it did not flood.
The thing about it is that I'm kind of surprised in terms of how it was handled there. I think that there has, if you notice, there has not been any any undue sort of unruly behavior, nothing of that nature. And I think that I don't know, the others probably handling and managing it fine. A
little bit of rain and stuff, and well, I guess God bless us, so everything is fine, and I thank God. I hope who wanna go could go, and who wanna come could come, and we take heed.
So seemingly no floods here at the E.T. Joshua Airport. It is reported that the sandbags played a great role in this, although there was a lot of water, a lot of flooding from the rivers, but not the E.T. Joshua Airport. And as I said, flights seemingly resuming back to normal, with one flight leaving from Liat at around 10 to 12. And the workers at the SVG Air and Mustique Airways back into effect as well, ensuring that flights are leaving from Mustique Airways and SVG Air. Reporting from the E.T. Joshua Airport, I am Sharon Garraway.
And the sanitation workers have been busy getting the streets and drains clear. We take a look at how this has been progressing and get a feedback from people in capital Kingstown.
So there's a problem with clearing up, but it hasn't been as bad this year as you said?
No, it hasn't been bad this year because we have to learn to accept the things that we can't change. We can't change the weather, we can't stop God work, but we need to do something better than what they're doing.
How about the sanitation workers as well? How are they doing?
They're all right for this year.
Working hard?
Yeah, they're okay for this year because we don't have to come out and do no work with them.
I feel really bad when I see the water last because I come down the whole last that I live riverside up Montrose, and I have to run out my house and come back on town. We see we're going to back on town, but I come and pass. It's a shame to see about the tongue, how the tongue looked this last night.
But it's looking much better now?
Yes, 100%. And I like how the sanitation them walking along the hurricane season.
Well, I feel the problem could be solved by just the jackhammer, the big stone, and dredge the river and get it over with. Because every year it will be the same thing, and we can't be doing the same thing over and over because it will not be making no sense, right? So the people at St. Vincent, we have to get the professionals in who know what they're doing.
My name is Ifer Constance, and I'm working in the public health department. We are out since about 4 o'clock this morning, trying to do the cleaning up of the Kingstown and the surrounding area. Places like Annisville, where we see a lot of debris coming into the street. We have done go there and execute the job properly, and here we are at the Catholic Road and trying to bring things together because we get a lot of debris on the street and so forth. So we are getting things organized. Yeah.